This keeps going on and on and on, and things need to change. There's so many people now that are seeing behind the lies, they're seeing the deception, and they're not happy with it. There's a lot of people now waking up to this moment, realizing how we have been deceived all this time. But they've woken up to the darkness and the evil that is going around the world. The governments that don't care for you, the health system that just makes you more sick and preserves it so you need more medication. The media that literally just showing you fear and all these stats and numbers thrown at your face, but giving you no hope, no plan, nothing. We're all waking up to the evil crimes that are going on around the world when it involves children. The conditioning of our children in the school, what we're teaching them. You can't deny that it's not happening, it is happening. There's a paedophile problem all over the world in the highest of places. Within the churches, within the police force, within the government. It's all been secretive for so long, but people are waking up to it now. You can see it. Once you've seen this stuff, you can't unsee it. It's only your ego then that denies it. The cognitive dissonance doesn't want it to happen. This is the problem though. Once you have seen stuff like this, you now have a responsibility. As a human race, we need to start doing things. So this is a message really to go out to people that have been sitting on the fence, that do think something is not right, but haven't said anything because they don't want to upset anyone or offend anyone. I just want to keep the peace. This is for people who have had the vaccines and wish that they didn't, and starting to get a bit scared of what potentially can come from it with all these information that's thrown out there. There's a lot that you can do as well. Like, this message really is to unite people more, because there's so many people that are in positions of influence on the internet. So much people, they don't say a thing. Don't even express their opinion on it. This is not about our little topics now. This is about life. And if we carry on the way it is, and we keep listening to the same people that are directing all this information at us, telling us that we have to stay locked in, we have to have these mandates, they put in all these regulations in that most of us abide to, but yet most of us don't agree with it. Most of us won't say anything. You've got the footballers. Not one footballer in the Premiership has come out and said that this is bullshit. Not one. And I know for a fact not all the footballers have been vaccinated. I know for a fact there's a lot of footballers that know this is bullshit, but they can't say anything because they might lose their job. This is the call out for them as well. Let's go beyond like this season. If you zoom out, the year that you speak up, you're going to have a whole world of people on your side now. You're going to be supported, you're going to be protected. And if you look back, you was that footballer to make the stand against this tyranny, to make a difference because it's what you believe in. And then other people will have the courage to start speaking up too. You've got eyes on you now, you've got to support. But going bigger than this, there's no such thing as football if all our freedoms are taken away from us. And I say that, that's what's actually happening. People are dying from this vaccine. Footballers around the world are dying from this vaccine. Everyone knows someone that's been impacted by it. Some sort of condition after. People having heart attacks, infertility problems. They're getting all sorts of problems in their body. Blood clots. Like, if you deny this, there's something wrong. We know it's all going on now, and yes, we don't want it to be true, but it is. But knowing this stuff, but not saying anything. You got influencers that literally talk about all the other things that the news tell you to talk about, and are very vocal about one topic that they spend maybe a week on, and then you don't hear anything from it at all. But when it comes to life, there's a big divide at the moment, and we need to bring people together. That's through information, that's through educating, that's through sharing your own story, your own beliefs and opinions. Most people don't, because they're worried about how it's going to be perceived. When you speak your truth, that's all it is, it's truth. It's my feeling, it's my experience. When you speak your truth, you get a lot of other people then that resonate with that, because all it is truth. That just shows you how corrupt the brain is for most people. They don't care what other people think. They speak a good game and they say that we're going to do all these things to help people, but yet they won't speak up on the one thing that is important, our freedom. So I'm encouraging people now who are sitting on the fence that do see this as nonsense, say something. Because one person will resonate with you more than other people. oh my God, they've actually said something now. Let me pay attention. The only way this is going to change is if we all as individuals do something. When we're having conversations, engaging with these people that don't agree with it, ask them questions, get them to show you why they're coming to these conclusions. Call them out on their energy, call them out on the personal attacks too. Look, it's not a debate. Just want to know why. Let me share your opinion. Explain why we should have this vaccine. Explain why we need to wear masks. Explain why you need a booster. This is another one. There's no research, guys. You like it or not, there's no research on it. People are dying from this. So trying to justify it because a family member's now having it needs to step in now. Like, why are you taking it? What one bit of research have you looked in that you've done yourself to justify it? And the excuses that you hear people, oh, I needed to travel. No, you don't. No, you don't need anything to travel because everyone can travel without the vaccine. That's not a law. That's not set in stone. People are travelling all the time without it. So stop using these excuses just to get the quick way around it. Because people are getting more and more ill. We need to now focus on our health. We need to focus on the things that make us feel better. We need to understand how this body works. Because if we knew how it works and we knew that we was in control of all of it, and we knew what went on at the minuscule level, the microbiome level, the level that these vaccines start operating on, if we knew what happened there, we can then sit into that space and we can control it. We can change the outcome of our body because we're still the controller of everything. That's how it works. Epigenetics. We can search it up. Why don't the government tell us about that? Why don't the government present these books? Secret of the Ages, the Master's Key System. Why don't they show us these books that have been around for years with all your answers in it? All very simple, all self-explanatory, all easily to be implemented and feel the experiences yourself. Because they don't care about you. They lie to you all the time. And the frustrating thing is people still go with these people on TV, the government, the politicians. They don't care. They're all about money. And if you really want to see that, just go and trace back to the people all benefiting through this COVID plandemic. It's the same people. So you need to let go of what you think's right or wrong now, because if it's right and it's true, you'd be able to justify it. If you just go back to the origins of COVID, like literally, guys, use your logic. There was a staged event, pre-planned, about a fake pandemic, just in case it had happened. And then 2 months later, it happened. Event 201. We were shown in the media all the time about deaths, all the time. People fainting in the streets in China. And literally death. We don't see any deaths on the news anymore. Why? Because all the deaths are related to vaccines. We see cases, lots of thousands of them every single day. We don't see deaths. But yet all the deaths are coming from these vaccines. The high percentage of people now that are dying are vaccinated. That is a fact. Anyone that keeps trying to say it's the unvaccinated, show us. Show us the research on that. There's none. And even people that had their vaccination for 14 days after their vaccination, if they were died, it went down as a non-vax. Unvaccinated people don't have COVID. They don't. COVID is not. It's irrelevant. It's a fake, phony cold that's been manipulated with stats. And again, you can try to challenge it all the time. Where did the flu go in 2020? It disappeared. PCR tests don't work. They've already recalled them. They stop on the 31st of December. This is fact. You can go and see it. So you trying to say, oh, I've had COVID. How do you even know if the PCR tests don't work? I'm getting frustrated a little though, because it's at the stage now where you can't wake people up. They're brainwashed. And again, their ego's going, what's he going on about? You're brainwashed because you're making decisions based on someone else's opinion. You're making decisions based on the news. You're making decisions based on a few people that tell you it's okay. And in not in one circumstance, not one, can you find the research. Not one. Trust the science. There is none. Whether you like it or not, there's no science. So why are we going along with, why are we arguing with now the recommended specialist people all over the world that are coming out, showing you, literally presenting evidence after evidence, this stuff is not good. But yet because you don't want it to be wrong, because you have been defending a lie, you get into an argument and you make it personal and there's a divide with the families. It doesn't need to be that way at all. We need to strip back, think bigger picture. If we continue the way that we're going at the moment, and we're just waiting for things to happen, the government are not going to help us. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. If we now start taking back our own power and say, no, we've got to wear a mask again inside. No, I'm not wearing it. It's not the law. Say no to vaccines, mandatory vaccine passports, mandatory. It's not law. Start saying no. Stop engaging in these conversations now and start asking questions. And if you don't agree with it now, say something. Because I tell you what, when the world does change, this truth's coming out. Like, you can see all these events all over the world happening at the moment. There's a lot of them. I can name a few just right away. You've got the audits in America, which is going to prove international fraud. You've got January the 6th, which is a fake insurrection. The same media covered up for it. You've got the Maxwell case. You're going to get paedophilia references, top high-end people. You've got Durham. John Durham is a private counsellor doing investigations since 2016 on the whole Trump campaign and how they illegally spied on him. There's loads, but you're going to see the same people involved. Hunter Biden, the president's son, has got 3 laptops confiscated, and there's all sorts of stuff on there. You're going to see Benghazi, where the Americans got set up out there by their own people, got killed, slaughtered. These things are all happening. You've got a mega class action lawsuit against big tech, over 60,000 people taking them on. Same with Big Pharma. That's happening right now. So all these things are going to come out all at the same time. So the truth will come out. The vaccines, the people involved, all money making, all evil. There's no other reasons why you would be involved at this point, because the data suggests it's not good for us. You're going to see the origins of COVID. You're going to see all the media have been playing the lies to you the whole time. It's a war. So when all this truth comes out, the people that have been speaking up the whole time, you're going to be trusted. I'm putting this out there to anyone that hasn't said anything but still wants to make a living in this life. The roles are just going to go straight down. Because if you're not willing to talk about the important things and not willing to express your opinion, when the whole thing shifts over, who are people going to turn to? It's going to get dark. Because at the moment it's quite dark anyway, with a bit of awareness. When it gets flipped on its head and you realise that a lot of the stuff that we've lived in has become a lie. This is truth. Like, you can disagree with me all you want. This is going to happen. So if you're not saying anything now, you're going to have to climb up that ladder just on the trust thing. Because at the moment now, there's a clear divide between the people. People that have been unwilling to look at stuff and taking the opinions of others versus people now questioning. Doesn't make sense. My gut feeling's telling me elsewhere. And unfortunately, there's been a great big divide. There's like animosity between the two. So if we now start thinking ahead, what's going to change? It's the people taking back the power. It's the people saying no. It's the communities building together. Unity. It's focusing on a common goal. Peace, love, joy, happiness, freedom. That's what we all want. So even amongst all this arguing, let's look out. If we go in this direction and we start working together, look at the outcome. If we don't, and we sit on the fence as we're doing at the moment, we argue amongst each other, who benefits? The same people putting these control systems in. We're at this shift. It's a transition point. What side do you want to take? Even if you know you've made mistakes so far, or if you have been wrong. I made a mistake, but now my role is to play this part. There's a lot of us that need help at the moment. A lot of families need support from each other. But that all starts with us individually, taking back our rights, knowing our rights, educating, letting go of the ego, communicating with each other rather than being I'm right and you're wrong and I listen to this first, which happens again in the truth movement. Just present information. If I don't agree with you, I don't go attacking you personally. I just say I don't agree and this is the reason why I don't. Present. Anything that turns into an argument because you're making it personal, that's ego. All of it is. So, a little rant from me, but it's time for people to step up. It's time for people to use common sense. You can disagree with all the stuff I said, guarantee you can't come back with any evidence, any research. So until then, that's my truth. And a lot of people are starting to see that too. If you're unsure, guys, I can present to you a number of different articles, videos, documents, resources. I can put you in the right direction because it's all there. And there is so much good coming, but it's only going to happen if we start coming together now and start stepping up. I'm telling you, it'll be a ripple effect. So stay tuned for next week. There's some big things happening. I'm really excited to announce them once they do happen. But we're going to start seeing some big waves across I'd say the country first, but it's going to shoot across the world because there's, amazing things happening. So let's enjoy this weekend. Let's try not to get at each other's necks. And let's answer questions for ourselves. What makes sense to us? Not what you want. What makes sense to what's going on in the world at the moment?